With just 4 rounds remaining in the regular season of the W League, points have never been as crucial. The Wanderers looking to bounce back after their first loss of the season last weekend and hoping to secure their position in their tilt for a maiden finals campaign. Perth had a bye last round after a dramatic 2-2 draw in Adelaide. And now with a place in the top 4, highly unlikely, though mathematically still possible, the Glory are chasing a first win this season and hoping to close out this edition of the league on a better note. And they might just fancy their chances today. The Wanderers have looked ominous all season. That was until their 4-0 drubbing last Sunday at the hands of Brisbane Roar. So we'll soon see if that result was an anomaly and normal service is resumed. So let's have a look at how the Wanderers are lining up today. And Erica Holloway is undergoing assessment on a possible ACL injury, so Caitlin Cooper comes in at right back. Denise O'Sullivan lines up in holding midfield for the final time this season as her guest stint comes to a close. Ella Mastrantoni, 100th W League appearance. But wow, Courtney Newbon gets her debut in between the sticks with Abby Smith out for 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL. A undoubtedly nervous and exciting time for the 19-year-old. Meantime, for the visitors, as we see Denise O'Sullivan, who is on her last run here for the Wanderers, her guest stint coming to an end. It would be a shame to see her go, but the visitors will be hoping to take advantage of those missing in the Wanderers lineup. Celia Jimenez Delgado is a late withdrawal due to illness. Jamie Lee Gale comes into the back line with Natasha Rigby shifting to the centre of defence. Ariana Romero moves up the park behind Crystal Thomas and Katarina Jukic, who will lead the line. Well, the Glory will be hoping for big things from their 2 US imports today. They need goals. Look at those two. Friends from way back, Bobby Despotovsky, coach of Perth Glory, and Dean Heffernan, who's had a wonderful ride in charge of the Wanderers this season. They both know how crucial a win is here, and well, probably quite difficult for the Wanderers to back up after last week. They've got a few games in hand, and Perth could be tricky here today. They haven't managed to really trouble too many other teams, but they'll be hoping they can today. Ella Mastrantoni, 100th W League game. Of course, that's been across a number of clubs, but she's very happy to be celebrating it here, and she might celebrating it with a win today. Of course, she's had 6 seasons here at Perth Glory, I beg your pardon, at the Wanderers, interspersed with seasons at Melbourne Victory and her debut season with the Wanderers, a Fremantle City junior. So she is playing against her old opposition in purple. Perth have struggled to find the back of the net on too many occasions, and they probably know that their season is pretty much over, but wouldn't it be good to finish it on a high? It's been a difficult adjustment to life without the likes of Samantha Kerr and Rachel Hill. But they'll be sure to put on a show today and hoping to take advantage of some of those missing for the Wanderers. And someone who's seen a fair bit of the Wanderers this season, called a couple of their games already, is beside me, and Georgia Yeoman-Dale. Georgia, what are you expecting? It's a tricky time for the home side.
Yeah, it is. They're coming off a pretty devastating loss for them. They started out the season really well, and then to go down 4-0 to Brisbane Roar would have been really tough for them. But this is a game where you've got to come out, you've got to show your authority and show that you're really in it to win it this season. It's not going to be easy against Perth Glory. They're expected to win, which is a totally different way to play the game when you are expected to win. So they're going to have to come out from the first whistle and really go for it.
Yeah, it could be very tricky. Kyra Cooney-Cross has been one that's really improved over this season, and 4 goals already to her name. Been wonderful to see the youngsters come through. Isabella Libri is our referee today. Quick check of her watch, and off we go with the visitors. Perth Glory running left to right on your screen. Get the play underway off the head of Kyra Cooney-Cross. Just seeing on the right of your screen, Courtney Newbon. What an exciting, but Georgia, it's got to be a nervy day for her.
Yeah, definitely. Your debu's always very nervy, and as a second goalkeeper, she wouldn't really expect to get much game time, but now with your first goalkeeper out, she's the one that you've got to call upon, and potentially is going to be the one manning that position for the next 6 weeks. So hopefully she settles into this game and is able to help Wanderers continue on their winning streak.
I suppose in reality she's actually third choice goalkeeper, isn't she? Because they lost Yada Wyman in pre-season, so they're going through the knees in between goal, and not great to hear that Erica Holloway is undergoing investigations on her knee as well, so we wish her all the best.
Injuries, they're not fair in football, but a part of the game, unfortunately, and the hard thing is how short this season is, so you miss out a few games and that's half the season gone. So hopefully Abby Smith's back sooner rather than later, and that Erica Holloway recovers well.
Incursion into the box there. Kristen Hamilton almost able to battle her way through. Alongside Courtney Vine getting another start today in the absence of Lynn Williams, who, congratulations to Lynn, has been selected in the US squad for these World Cup qualifiers, but devastating blow to the red and black. First corner of the match. In by Cooney Cross. Oh, flipped backwards very neatly by Denise O'Sullivan. Sam Starb chasing down on the far side.
Yeah, it is a big blow for the Wanderers to be missing Lynn Williams, but that's what the W League does so well, is it helps other countries produce superstars as well. We've seen a few players coming over from the US making it into the US national team, so good on her.
There's the head of Courtney Vine. Wanderers track back and prepare for another attack. Nevin finds the back of Shannon May's head, her fellow number 5. Mr. Antonio. Now Hamilton. Been such a force in attack. North Carolina courage alone. Well, Mr. Antonio, beautiful ball in, almost met. Courtney Vine, will it still be alive for Vine? Oh, gratefully headed away by Perth Glory, only for Hamilton to bring it back down. Wanderers trying to find a way through all those white shirts. Again, it's still alive and could be headed in here. There's the opening goal for the home side. What a way to start the match. Just 3 minutes gone on the clock. Exceptional start, and wow, they're bouncing back in style.
That's what the Wanderers needed to see. They needed a goal early, and none other than Caitlin Cooper. She's played for the Wanderers for a couple of seasons now, and a very experienced player. She just is a bit of confusion there in the box, but Wanderers work it out. Perth Glory unable to clear the ball. It comes back out, and Caitlin Cooper manages to find it on the back post and heads into almost an empty net.
Yeah, beautifully done there. Great positioning from Caitlin Cooper. Julia Sardo unable to close her down. It's been such a wonderful servant for the W League. Of course, she was the inaugural captain of Central Coast Mariners, I think, way back at the start, and great to still see her plying her trade out here in the West, really enjoying her football.
Yeah, good to see her back out on the pitch. She spent the start of the season on the bench, and before the season started was unsure of whether she was going to play or not. So a player that we love to see in the W League. She's such a quality person and leader within the group. So hopefully she can relish in the opportunity of starting today.
Indeed, as we mentioned, she's coming for Erica Holloway, and what a way to announce yourself back into the starting side. Wanderers on the attack again now. Struggling a little bit to read the play. Mr. Antonio. Not quite sure who she was looking for there.
I think she's lined up the shot and then pulled out halfway through, but looked up, saw it was on, and just should have put her boot through it.
Cheap turnover for Perth. May can't keep Hamilton at bay. Sullivan helping out in the midfield. A shame that this is Denise O'Sullivan's last appearance in red and black this season. She's going to head back to Ireland to see some family, and then of course she'll go with the Irish team for their World Cup qualifiers and resume pre-season with North Carolina Courage starting on the 9th of March. She's been fantastic, and I think the Wanderers would really like her to stick around if they're to have this charge to a first ever finals campaign.
Yeah, she has been brilliant for the Wanderers.
Space again for the Wanderers down the right. Oh, that's a lovely ball in. Goes just wide of the post, and enormous relief from the keeper there, Eliza Campbell.
Yeah, this one looked like some heavy contact, but great run there from Amy Harrison. She's committed to making the run, and she's picked up the ball and put in a great ball in there for Courtney Vine. All eyes on the ball, and she had all right to go for it, but this doesn't look good for Eliza Campbell. She's stayed down here and has definitely taken a heavy knock.
Doesn't seem to be the season for goalkeepers, does it?
No, well, they put their body on the line all the time. I don't know how they do it, and she's just pulled up second best on this one. I don't know if it's the initial contact or it's when her head hits the ground afterwards, but they'll be doing a proper assessment and making sure she's all right to continue. Yeah,
as well they should, and I can tell you Perth Glory are in a huddle with Kim Carroll giving out the instructions. What do you reckon she's saying, Georgia? Because Bobby Despotovsky looks less than impressed with the start to this match.
Yeah, look, they've been quite disconnected in the back line, and that's what Wanderers have been able to do to teams this season, is the way that they move the ball around and the way that the players actually move. It opens up the defence, and Perth haven't been able to deal with that so far. They've been quite open. We see that opportunity again, and it's a big contact there, but I think Kim Carroll will just be trying to settle her team and say, you know, let's settle on the ball, let's move the ball, let's work our way into this game. But defensively, they need to be tight, and they need to be making sure that they're communicating with players running off shoulders.
Good to see Campbell up and about again. Perth just struggling to maintain any sort of meaningful possession. Evans' throw finds O'Sullivan, who can only tap it back to the feet of Perth Glory. Jukic breaking free. And white shirts charging forward. It's better from the Wanderers as Crystal Thomas can't keep the ball, and again it goes over to very, very busy Denise O'Sullivan.
It's going to be a really interesting battle there with Thomas and Sam Starr. Both played together at Washington Spirit, so they both know the way each other plays, and it'll be interesting to see who wins that one today.
Yeah, I'm not laying any bets on that just yet. Look at the strength of Starr. One of Sam Starr, one of many Americans joining us over here this season. It's been great to have them here, and the Wanderers have really enjoyed their skills, and it's such a shame for them that Lynn Williams is not back. Adam Peacock is sidelined. Have you got more news on Miss Williams?
Yes, good afternoon, Georgia, and also Steph. Yeah, Lynn Williams, Dean Heffernan could have played the hard ball and said, yeah, you've got to come back for a game or two before going back to the States, as we just look at this unfold for Perth Glory. It's well cleared by Wanderers that, yeah, he could have played hardball and said, you've got to come back, but he said, no, it's better for her just to stay over there, stay in that time zone, give herself the best possible chance of putting her best foot forward in those Olympic qualifiers for the US and possibly making an Olympic team. It's a huge achievement as well for Lynn Williams. Certainly is. Thanks, Adam. I wonder if that conversation took place before Erica Holloway went down in training. Not sure either, actually. Yeah, but half-foot stress, put it that way before, so yeah, maybe it didn't. Exactly. Fair shout, though. Courtney Vine running in. Once again, managing to avoid the danger. Yeah, great for Lynn Williams. She's been an absolute gun. It's been a joy to watch her here, and fortunately for them, with that FIFA window, she should be back well in time, hopefully, before their derby, and also, of course, for the finals when they come around. Only 4 weeks away. I can't believe where the season's gone. Yeah, it's a quick season. Great opportunity for Lynn Williams. Well deserved. She came over here. She was playing so well, and now she's been picked. So hopefully she... The delivery in from Nevin. Gratefully headed away. Comes back in for Mastro Antonio. And the Wanderers will have a throw.
Yeah, hopefully Lynn Williams gets an opportunity in the Olympic qualifiers and is able to prove herself. And we know that without too much doubt that the US national team will be at the Olympics. So hopefully she's able to get herself picked in that squad. And yeah, she'll do the W League proud, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've got loyalties all over the place now, don't we? Strong work from Cooney Cross. Trying to find the feet of Hamilton. Actually ends up with Cooper. And Harrison showing her agility to keep it in on the far side. Unfortunately, can't find Vine to continue the attack. Chance here for Perth, trying to break. Just lacking a little bit of clinical precision. Might have been winding up for a shot there. That one is. It's crossed in. And best chance of attack Perth Glory have had so far.
Yeah, it is, and it came off the back of a Wanderers attack. Amy Harrison did really well to keep the ball in on the far side, but unable to then string a pass together, and it meant that she was out of position, out of a natural right back position, and Perth Glory able to mount a counter attack, which is probably the game that they're going to have to be playing today, is trying to catch Wanderers out when they are throwing numbers forward.
Yeah, it was neat work there with Rigby to May to Romero, but just finding that touch to push it forward. And the Wanderers' defence has been, you'd have to say, pretty solid so far this season. They'd only conceded 3 goals before last week. They managed to blow their goal difference out of the water, though, with that 4-0 loss.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. You have a bad day, and Brisbane Roar were absolutely on fire in the second half last week, putting 4 goals away. So not a lot Wanderers could do when they weren't at their best, and unfortunately they copped 4 goals, and it doesn't say a lot about their defence this season. Their defence has been solid, so we expect that again today.
Certainly Romero trying to find Jukic. Goes as far as Master Antonio. Denise O'Sullivan running into the fray. Hamilton now on the right. And tries to put the ball in the path of Courtney Vine, maybe asking a little bit too much.
Yeah, good little play there, though, through the midfield, and Courtney Vine able to find Hamilton in space out wide and then make a committed run forward. Hamilton saw her run and tried to pay it, but unfortunately just put too much behind it. But it was a good little play from Wanderers.
Showing even despite the absences what a tough afternoon they're potentially going to give the Glory. 2 very different, well, contrasting fortunes over the last couple of weeks. Perth picking up just their 2nd point. It's just such a complete contrast to last season for them, isn't it? But the lineup is missing a few key names, you might say.
Yeah, definitely. You look at both sides, and if we compared it to last year, they were at opposite ends of the table, but 2 totally new squads, and of course, you know, Perth Glory missing Sam Kerr, it's a big loss, and they're kind of in a rebuilding phase now.
Sam Kerr in action tonight with Chelsea meeting Arsenal in the English Super League. That'll be a cracker. Right now, though, Perth would be wishing she was here as Thomas charges forward.
Wouldn't it be great if she could just play in both leagues, just fly back and forward?
I'm sure she'd love that. Be great for the frequent flyer points. At any rate, Kristen Hamilton herself a bit of space. He's looking for the options. So comfortable on both feet, Hamilton. Can't get through on this occasion. It just ends up back with the American. Now she's looking for Vine again. It was neat work from Cooper once more. She's been busy.
She has been, and we saw Kristen Hamilton so much space out wide, and that's something Perth Glory are really going to have to address. She's had a couple of opportunities with a lot of space in front of her to both whip in crosses and have shots, and if Perth Glory give her too many more opportunities like that, it's going to turn into a goal, so they're going to have to be tidying that one up.
Yeah, got a feel for Julia Sardo, though, who's been marking Kristen for most of this half thus far. Just 5 appearances in the W League, playing well, someone with substantially more experience.
Yeah, and only called in just before the game, so she wouldn't have been mentally prepared to be starting this one, and she's got a big job on her hands.
Certainly does. What do you make of the rejigging of the Perth lineup? Because Jimenez Delgado dropping out of the squad as she wasn't feeling well did not just mean a like-for-like transition. There was wholesale structural changes.
Yeah, they have. They originally were going to come out in a 4-3-3, and now with that change, that forced change before the game, there's been a few players shuffle around with Rigby coming into the centre of defence and actually moving into a 4-4-2 formation with a diamond. And although teams train to be able to play in both formations, it can be difficult to switch between the two, but playing against the Wanderers, who also play a 4-4-2, it might actually work to their favour to be manning up in the midfield.
Amy Harrison retrieves the ball, sends it back to Alex Hun. Now Jukic for Perth. Does manage to push it forward. Thomas still waiting for assistance. Now finds it in the form of Jukic. Jukic with a chance for a shot, and well, do you know what? That'd be great for Courtney Newbon, even though the foul was called. Always good to get that first touch.
Yeah, definitely get the ball into the gloves and get a feel for it. She would have been nervous with that one coming, but I don't think that one was offside. I think that was the wrong call there. I think she held her run really well, and Sam Starb kept her onside in the midfield. So unfortunate call for Perth, but yeah, Courtney Newbon would be more than happy to pick that one up and get herself into the game.
Sydney Wanderers, of course, have a couple of games in hand over the other side. Eliza Campbell forced to chase, going toe-to-toe with Hamilton. Looks like she's recovered from that knock, but that was brave.
Yeah, I think Bobby Deskovsky just stood up on his chair and his heart was probably racing on that one. I'm not sure Eliza Campbell should have come out for it, but manages to deal with it anyway. Kristen Hamilton's such a quick player, so to be able to beat her off your line there, Eliza's going to have to be careful with that kind of play today.
Starb with the long throw. Mr. Antonio does manage to wrap a boot around it. Be somewhat poignant for Ella Mastro-Antonio playing this 100th game against her old teammates. Really, there are still a few from when she was there. I'll try and get it correct this time. She had 6 seasons at Perth Glory, interspersed by 4 seasons at Melbourne Victory, before coming here for her first season at the Wanderers, and she's been a great addition to their midfield.
Yeah, it's crazy to think how many years she's been in the game, and she's only just clocking up 100 now, but so much experience, and she's been a key player here for the Wanderers this season. The way that she commands the midfield, the way that she mans that position, it would be good to see her actually get a goal today, because she definitely deserves it, but the way that she plays her role has definitely been an important factor as to why the Wanderers are doing so well this season.
Just 1 goal so far in her 100 appearances, so that'll be a great way to double the tally. And Wanderers again. And Sullivan searching for options, finds Mastro-Antonio. Now Nevin. Back to Mastro-Antonio, who's always looking up with an eye for her strikers. Picked up again by Courtney Vine. Wanderers content just to push the ball around a bit, and much more like the Wanderers we've grown used to seeing this season.
Yeah, looking really sharp on the ball as well, just happy to knock it around and try and find the gaps.
In fact, you mentioned when they were warming up as, that's a turnover that Amy Harrison would have liked to do better with.
You mentioned in the warm-up that you thought the Wanderers were looking much sharper.
Yeah, they definitely look like they've gone away this week and addressed a few things, and they've come out with confidence. Sometimes off a big loss like that, you can lose your confidence, but they seem to be coming out with the belief that they can continue to play the right football and the football that they've been playing this season. And just watching the way that they're knocking the ball around so far in this first 20 minutes of the game just shows that they're not rushing things. They're happy to move it around and just wait for something to open up, wait for the right ball, the right play, and that was missing last week for them. They were seeming to force things a little bit in the final third, and they seem to be back to what they've been playing well.
Nevin with a lovely ball forward, a little bit beyond Vine, and great goalkeeping once more by Eliza Campbell. You can see something the Western Sydney Wanderers do so well is to keep that eye further up the park. They're not too worried about always searching for those options up front. I did mention they have a couple of games in hand. They certainly got a game in hand over their rivals above them on the table in Sydney FC and Melbourne City. Is it too early to say with complete confidence you're expecting them to play a maiden finals campaign? I'll get you to put the mockers on them now.
No, I'm pretty confident. I think that the foundations that they've set this season, the way that Dean Heffernan has them playing, it would have to be a pretty big change for them to lose it now. As you said, they've got a couple of games in hand. They're looking dangerous, and the way that they play, it would take a lot for them not to make it in there. And I think that even in their minds now, they're not looking to make it just into the finals. They're looking to get that premiership to end up top, and I think that's definitely within their reach.
Yeah, they definitely won a couple of trophies. Their run home isn't too bad either. They've got Adelaide away, Sydney, the derby, of course, is going to be at Cromer Park in Manly, then Melbourne City, but then they play Perth again. So it could be worse, and in fact, they've got a chance to knock off sides above them and, as you say, clinch that Premier's plate. Start again with the long throw. Rebounds straight back to her.
But sometimes playing those, we look at them playing Sydney FC, playing Melbourne City at the end of the season. Sometimes that's actually beneficial because you have control over their points as well as yours. If you're only playing easy games at the end.
No, absolutely. They can change the context of the entire top four.
Yeah, and all three teams definitely are going to be fighting for that position.
Well, and then the battle for fourth is also between three teams. Brisbane Roar did their chances no harm at all, and Romero gives it back to... Well, it looked like it was actually going to be very, very close. Jamie Lee Gale almost got her shot on target.
She made some really good contact with that one, and good shape on the ball, the way that she's curling that in. Unfortunately, just gets too much on it and puts it over the top. But good signs there for Perth Glory that they're happy to have a go from out there, and maybe that's what it's going to take, because they're not getting the chances to throw too many numbers forward at the moment. Too worried about what's happening in the Wanderers half-time.
So there are the next four games for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Adelaide away, Sydney away, Melbourne City at home, which they'll be very happy about, and then they finish up with this same side we're seeing here today. Good look at the Wanderers coaching bench as well there, with Dean Heffernan and his assistants, Michael Beecham and Kath Cannuli, of course, a great servant to the Wanderers herself. Haven't they had a wonderful ride so far this season? And yep, they'll certainly not be wanting it to end.
Yeah, definitely not. They've come in and they've done a really good job restructuring the team and making the girls play for each other, but as well the club, what the club's been putting together for them this season has definitely helped.
It's a beautiful ball to find Harrison free. She goes with her left foot. And Eliza Campbell manages to palm it away. It's great work from Amy Harrison.
Yeah, great strike there from Amy Harrison outside the box on an unfavoured foot as well. Just sets herself, takes her time and makes sure she makes really good contact with it. But good save there by Eliza Campbell.
Harrison's been getting a lot of space out on that flank. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue to exploit that.
she'll be wanting to get forward. She's an attacking-minded player. She wants to get in and around the box, so she'd be happy to have that space in front of her, and especially as the game settles a little bit, she'll be venturing forward a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, just great to see Amy Harrison on the park for a full season. We remember what a devastating blow was to her before the World Cup to pick up that injury, and back in fine form now as Kristen Hamilton once again charges forward, looking for an opening, hoping to find Vine. Cleared away by Shannon May for Perth. And he comes far as back as Master Antonio. Nevin. Not too easy for Kim Carroll. Fortunately for Carroll, she can send it up and it just keeps on coming back. Rigby, a bit of a danger ball through to Jamie Lee Gale. Natasha Rigby playing all over the park as usual. And wow, look at that save from Eliza Campbell.
Yeah, great diving save there from Eliza. She's such a quality goalkeeper and has been a crucial part of this Glory side for the last couple of seasons. So should be happy to see that one go wide.
Cross couldn't keep the ball away from Gale. Gale with the 1-2. Natasha Rigby is the ultimate defensive utility, isn't she? She's played on both the right and the left. Today moves into the centre of defence. As Jukic runs forward, only to be able to push the ball forward for herself with 3 or 4 Western Sydney defenders around her. That was never going to be particularly easy.
No, not at all, but a great run there from Jukic. She shows confidence in herself to be able to take on players. She had no options around her with Perth Glory players, so all she could do was keep running it. But there we see Sam Starb coming in at the back, sweeping up and just being that solid defender that she's been for the Wanderers all season. It's hard to get anything past her.
Jukic again forced to find her own battle. Harrison to O'Sullivan. Master Antonio opts to go back to Starb.
I find it really interesting if you just look at the way that Perth Glory are set up at the moment. They're playing 3 at the back and then it's a 3-2-3-2, so they're trying to keep it really compact in the midfield. But it doesn't allow them to move the ball around once they win it.
There's an enormous amount of space up and down each wing, but fortunately for Gale, she's managed to counter that. Oh, that could have been beautiful. The flag's already up, but good vision from Thomas.
Yeah, it was a good attacking play there from Perth Glory, again trying to catch the Wanderers out on the counter-attack, and that's when they're going to be dangerous. But a clear offside call there. Thomas probably could have just taken the turn herself and been in a better position to just run at goal, but wanted to pay the run in behind it, and just wasn't the right option because there was an offside.
It was over the head of Sardo, picked up by Hamilton. Back to Hamilton again. Rigby forced to clear. Thomas calls for the foul and gets it. Perhaps now a chance for Perth Glory to set something up. They've really struggled to get much beyond this point so far.
Yeah, as we re-watch the foul, it's nothing too much in it, but definitely there to be called, and now Perth Glory get a chance to actually throw some numbers forward into the box and make something of it. But I always like to see how new goalkeepers set these ones up. Courtney Newburn's got to be commanding her back line here.
Ball in for Perth, and it's Newburn that comes out to gratefully grasp. Well, half an hour gone, and she could be pretty happy with that first half hour. Hasn't had an awful lot to do, but you can only play what's in front of you.
Yeah, she's been flawless so far.
There we go, highlights reel already. Nevin Great ball for Hamilton, who has the pace to reel that in. Looking to cut back for Vine, not enough on that. Now Romero. Sardo has been kept fairly busy in that left back role. Ever reliable Kim Carroll, another one who's chalked up well over 100 caps. Still remember her starting back at Brisbane Roar. It seems like forever ago now.
Yeah, a lot of experience, Kim Carroll. She'll be trying to pass that on to the younger girls here coming through at Glory, and she's not fun to play against. I've played against her a few times, and she's a solid defender.
Well, we'll need all her strength today. Now Harrison, middle of the park, no one around her. Kenny Cross lets it roll through for Mastrantonio, who makes her own space and winds up again. She's definitely keen for a goal today.
Yeah, I think she's got that in the back of her mind, and why not? The Perth Glory defence is sitting off her and giving her space, so you've got to test it. You've got to have a strike, and she's hit that one really well, but just pulled it to the left a little bit at the end, and I think Eliza Campbell had it covered if it had have been sneaking in at the near post. But I like to see that kind of thing from players, is just having a shot when you've got space on the edge of the box.
Good to see she's got a fan club in the stands as well for her special day. Fans still trickling into the stadium here in Parramatta. Of course, it is a double header, and the men will be playing about half an hour after the women. What a stadium it is to play in. This surface looks divine. It's not too often we get to say that about the W League.
Yeah, no, it does. It looks beautiful down there, and it makes it hard standing up here. You definitely want to be down there playing when you're looking at a pitch that good.
Kenny Cross certainly enjoying it. Just to outsmart Andrews temporarily. Haven't seen too much of Morgan Andrews just yet. Another one here from the States, Seattle Reign, her current US club.
Yeah, she's been a good addition for the Glory. A lot of experience coming across, and managed to get them a goal. Last week, which helped them get the point against Adelaide. So a quality player that does her job there in the midfield, and will be teaching a lot of these young girls a lot through her experience.
Kenny Cross unable to find Hamilton. Hamilton, of course, another one that's been on the cusp and there and thereabouts for the US national team, which indicates the quality of player that she is. First time playing outside the States. And by all accounts, she's enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, Steph, I think she's one of the best players that we've actually seen in the W League, and the quality that she's brought to this Western Sydney side. She's quick.
As we see Thomas go off on a run. Being here for Perth, Hoon giving her close attention, looking to cut back for Jukic, and there, well, I think Andrews will wish she had that back.
Yeah, good opportunity, just as we're saying that Andrews hasn't been able to get in front of goal, and you don't get many opportunities better than that. She would have liked to have put that one on target, that's for sure, and instead she just gets too much on it and skies it over the top. But a great run there from Thomas, and you can see her looking, and then just lays it off.
Hamilton spots the run of Nevin, a little bit too late, does roll over the whitewash. Again, an example of the way Wanda is constantly looking just to keep moving and affect that quick transition.
Just saw Dean Heffernan on the screen, and I think he's starting to look a little bit frustrated just in the last 10 minutes here. Is Western Sydney are losing control of the game a little bit. They started out so well and looked so dangerous, and it just seems like something's missing a little bit in these last 10 minutes. So it's going back to the basics and just moving the ball around and trying not to force things too much.
Cooper pushing it back. It's now with Courtney Vine, but Natasha Rigby in the way quite effectively. Andrews to Thomas. Sardo called in to retrieve, sends it back to Campbell. I think this is important for Perth. Equally on their part is to not force that ball forward. They don't appear to have enough support up in that final third, and it's really asking a little bit too much perhaps of Jukic and Thomas.
Yeah, definitely. We looked earlier at the formation that they were setting up defensively, but then I'll let this one play out.
Yeah, because that's a neat ball from Karakuni. Cross finds Kristen Hamilton. Hamilton with a shot. I think everyone's radar's gone a bit awry today.
Yeah, great opportunity there from Western Sydney. Karakuni Cross finds Hamilton over the top, but unable to keep the shot down. Wanderers looking dangerous, though.
And Hamilton knows how to find the back of the net. She's had 5 goals in 7 games, and yeah, it wasn't quite where she was anticipating.
Yeah, I think she's just hit that one off balance, but
Cooper being hustled and harried by Carroll. Sullivan. Harrison again. Sputs Cooney Cross. A little bit of space. And even again, time to think about it. Up she goes, and it's well, it's pretty easily dealt with by Sardo. It's the right thought.
yeah, they're getting the opportunities there, the Wanderers. They're getting balls into the box, and Perth are dealing with it at the moment.
Let's see if they can here. Hamilton again. Deflection off the defender. Gives it back to Eliza Campbell. Another one who's been around the traps in the W League as Nevin chases down. Good attention from Thomas.
Yeah, Nevin's done really well there, just using her body, keeping the distance there with Thomas, making sure she can't get a touch on the ball, and then just allowing Thomas to play the ball out over the sideline so that the Wanderers can pick up the throw-in.
Rigby forced to chase back. Good to see that Campbell doesn't appear to have any after effects from that early knock.
No, she's tough, Campbell. She's received a few knocks in her time, and it takes a lot to keep her down. So
yeah, when she was in Norway, she trained with some of the men's sides, and I wonder if that's given her a little bit of extra toughness.
Oh, I think she's been tough since she was a kid. I played under 20s with her, and it was some of the things she would dive at.
Romero back to Thomas, almost got a shot off. Quinn standing in the way. Vine over to Karakuni Cross. Mr. Antonio. Vine. Find Cooper, who did a little bit of a tuck and roll.
I think there was a sniper in the stands there on Caitlin Cooper. Just lost her feet there at the end, but there was a good initial build-up there from Wanderers. Karakuni Cross looked up, and you could see Hamilton open in the box, but she just didn't back herself on that left foot to try and whip in an early ball. But Wanderers are definitely throwing numbers forward and trying to attack, but also trying to be patient and make sure they don't waste any opportunities.
Hamilton uses her body well. Back to Starb. Just over 5 minutes time remaining in this first half. Wanderers would dearly love to go into the sheds with a 2-goal advantage as Cooper runs forward. Now Vine, she's got Hamilton charging in from the left. Sardo not careful enough to look after the ball, and it is back with the Wanderers. Vine again. Nice work from Andrews. to see Courtney Vine taking advantage of the opportunity that she's been offered and comported herself quite well so far today.
Yeah, she's been good when she's gotten her opportunities this year. Wanderers have signed such a high quality squad that it's been difficult competing for positions. Coming off being one of the key players last year for the Newcastle Jets.
Another chance here for... They've all got that going on today. All these balls are being skied over the bar, over the goal, even the crosses, it seems.
Yeah, there's a few miss hits here and there, and I'm sure when they go in at half-time, that's what the coaches will be talking about. It's being clinical in that final third that's important, and making sure that, you know, when they get the chance to whip in a ball, that it goes into good areas and it's not wasted.
And Gale, pass goes a little bit astray, but now it's back at the feet of Shannon May, the most experienced Perth Glory player, but possession is lost. Hamilton now. It's 1-on-4 as the Perth Glory defence hustles around her. Tap back to Cooper. Cooney cross. Just to turn away from the trouble. Mastrantonio. And that's almost dropped very nicely for Harrison, who can't find a fellow red and black shirt. Over the head of Cooney cross.
Perth Glory fortunate there to get the ball away in the end. The Wanderers' build-up was really good. Again, they're so patient in and around the box and just waiting for an opportunity.
And it's gone very favourably for them through Natasha Rigby. Vine sent it back to Mastrantonio. Solid shove in the back for Denise O'Sullivan. Deterred. Nevin opts to switch the play now. Hun. Amy Harrison. Yeah, that option isn't really working for them at the moment. I think Kim Carroll's got way too much experience for that to befuddle her in any way.
Yeah, definitely. Too much experience. She knows when to step out to win the ball. And too much height as well. If it is hit over the top, she's going to win it as well. So they've got to try and figure out something else.
That's nice. And McKenna gives it to Jukic. McKenna still there. Jukic, well, very off balance, but we'll pay that as a shot.
Yeah, I think you got to pay that one. She's slid in. She's taken her chance. Didn't trouble Courtney Newbon too much. But Perth Glory looking like they want to go forward at times. They're just unable to with the formation that they're playing. They're very restricted in how many numbers they're able to throw forward, and it makes it difficult.
Now Hamilton, acres of space down the right. Carroll again coming in to give us some attention. It might drop. Oh. In fact, it almost dropped for Ariana Romero to bury the ball in an own goal situation. Fortunately, flicked out, and it'll be a Wanderers throw.
I think Dean Heffernan would be happy with the way that the Wanderers are playing out this first half, and there would be a few things to address at half time, but it's definitely a lot of positivity to take from it.
And if you're up on the scoreboard, it's always a positive thing. Another long throw from Sam Starb. Almost dropped for Hamilton. Again, sighs of relief throughout Perth Glory camp. A huge ball from Campbell comes off the head of Hune. As far back as Jukic. Romero again in the action. Ticking away in this half. Might be just enough time for one more goal. Did have a few minutes, of course, with Campbell down being treated. I think we'd see 2 or 3 added on at least. Courtney Vine, Hamilton, options on the right, of which there are none. Back to O'Sullivan. Mastrantonio. Confirmation. We're only getting 1 minute of extra time. Wasn't quite how I calculated the injury timeout, but commentators are known to be wrong often. to Cooney Cross. Looking to take advantage, but Jamie Lee Gale uses her body effectively and avoids the danger. Back to Campbell with probably half a minute or so if Glory want to make any difference in this first half. Campbell in no rush to get the play back underway. Congested in the middle of the park. It does eventually drop for Crystal Thomas. Thomas being chased, hassled and harried. Oh, it looked like a full body blow there. And the referee agrees. Isabella Libri calling a halt to play. And Sullivan all but tossed to the ground there by her compatriot. Doing a head and a hip, and that's not good signs. Denise O'Sullivan in her final appearance as the whistle goes for half-time. Hopefully she's going to take advantage of the 15-minute break and be able to come back out in the second half as she gets some close attention from the Wanderers medical team. Well, it's been a successful half for the Wanderers. We just saw our goal scorer there. It was Caitlin Cooper that had the ball in the back of the net in the 3rd minute. And at half-time here in Parramatta, it's Western Sydney 1, Perth Glory 0. Well, let's get some info from down on the pitch. Adam Peacock is with Amy Harrison.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. It was meant to be Denise O'Sullivan, but I don't think she's in any state to talk with me. Is she okay, Amy?
Yeah, she's good. She's probably the toughest person I know, despite her size. So I'm sure she'll be good, and she'll want to go out her last game with a win. That's for sure.
All about the response for you guys after what happened last week against Brisbane. How have you found the response in that 45 minutes?
Yeah, excellent. From day one after that game, everyone came all guns blazing, and we put a line through it. We moved past it, and today was our focus. And you can tell all week that's all we're focused on, and it showed from the get-go.
Too easy. Let you get set for the second half. Thank you, Amy Harrison. We're off to a break here from Parramatta Stadium. Back in a moment. The halftime show with myself and Georgia Yeoman-Dale is on the way.
No.
Oh no, that's your volume there.
Hello. Hey. Yeah, I can hear you now. Hello.
That side of it.
That side. Sorry.
How,
Like what?
So your ankle must be okay. You've got to get quick.
Adam on his IFB. We carried it. What do you want pod?
I just jumped over the edge.
Two minutes left on the break, guys. 2 minutes to us.
Well, get the producer to... Can you talk to Adam to check his IFB, please?
Yeah, it was working.
Does it work, Adam?
Yeah.
Yep. That makes my life easier.
Yes, gotcha. You got me? So just confirming, Timmy, goal first. Yep. Yep. Have we got her getting body slammed at the end there?
Adam, just go to your left to touch, please.
Wonderful. Sorry? That way?
That's it, thank you.
I don't smell that bad, do I?
Huh?
I don't smell that bad, do I?
No, not at all.
No, you're good, you're good.
No, I'm the one that would stink.
Hold on, mate. Yeah, I do. Yep, all good.
So we got the goal. Did she play there last week? Where she's playing?
No, she was on the bench. She came off the bench,
Yeah.
but came off the bench into midfield.
In that position. Stadium was all about the response, as we heard before the break from Amy Harrison, about how Western Sydney Wanderers would contend with it. They've thought about it all week. Last week's wake-up call, if you want to call it, against Brisbane Roar. Well, they have responded. Not an unbelievably dominant half from Western Sydney Wanderers, but a better one. And they're in control against Perth Glory. Adam Peacock alongside Georgia Yeoman-Dale. Georgia, how do you see that first half overall from both sides?
Yeah, look, it was quite patchy there from Western Sydney. They had some moments of brilliance, and then there was a bit of a lull in the middle of the first half where they just didn't manage to build up play. But Perth Glory really sitting off and just almost trying to not lose rather than looking like they want to win.
Having a look at the stats, and yeah, double the amount of completed passes. But yeah, Perth are absorbing a fair bit of pressure, but have caused a little bit of danger. But you see the disparity in balls into the area, 26-4. And it was the defining moment so far is the goal. Georgia, take us through it, because a bit of an unlikely source. I'm not going to take it away from it, though.
Yeah, look, we see Caitlin Cooper coming back into the starting lineup this week and into a midfield position. And this is what we did see at the start of the first half, was Wanderers trying to get the ball into the area, forcing it a little bit. But then something managed to come off this. Perth Glory unable to clear it, and finds Caitlin Cooper pretty clear at the back post and able to just head that one away. But good to see Caitlin Cooper get herself on the score sheet.
Little flick of an arm as well, perhaps, on the way through. It's unfortunate for Perth, who were just looking to set. And it's not an easy ground to get your bearings, if you know what I mean. It's a very different look. It's a huge stadium with everything going up. And I don't know if Perth were overawed, but they took their time in getting into the game.
Yeah, definitely. And as I spoke about earlier, it's the way that they're looking like they want to play. Is their formation defensively is so compact, but then when they win the ball, they're going wide but not high enough, so they're ending up with like a back five. Yeah. And that's not where you're going to score your goals from. So they're trying to get width, but it's so deep and it's not being effective, and it means that their two strikers are so isolated up front and they're unable to build too much from it.
Having a look at Wanderers and their chances. So, OK, you take away Lynn Williams, you take a player of her calibre out of any player anywhere in the world at any level, and it's going to make you have to change things a little or adjust things. Have they adjusted well without Lynn and getting used to life without her? Because they're going to have to for the next 2 games or so.
Yeah, look, they didn't last week. They definitely didn't adjust last week, and then they've come in this week and I think it's almost they've realised that they can't play the same game because they don't have a like-for-like replacement of Lynn Williams. She's a quality player, but she's also kind of an out-and-out striker. She's tall, she's a big presence and able to flick on balls, but also able to finish it. And then you bring in Courtney Vine, who's a different player, and the combination is totally different between her and Hamilton.
What about Perth? You said they can't absorb so much. They have to get a little more proactive in terms of bodies forward. Who then? What needs to happen for them to create a big chance and perhaps the equaliser?
Yeah, look, for me, it's more about their fullbacks need to get higher. They're stretching the field through the midfield, but unable to get any wide players forward. So everything is coming right up the middle of the field. And they need to try and start building up the play a little bit more patiently around the outside, get the ball up the line and try and get midfielders into the box.
Denise O'Sullivan, last game, unfortunately. I don't know if they can manufacture something with contracts here, Western Sydney Wanderers, because we'd love to see her play out the season for Wanderers, but how have you seen her half?
Yeah, look, she's been good. She's been as good as she has been all season for them. She pulls strings in that midfield position. She wins balls. She plays players in. She plays simply, but she's also brilliant on the same side. And just putting her body on the line all the time, and we saw that right to the final whistle in that first half.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Back of the head, whack. It's hard out there as well. That's not nice. So that's a going away present, a sore hip and a headache for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, definitely. She'll get up, though, and she'll be coming out in the second half ready to go.
So, Wanderers, it's critical, isn't it? Because if they let this slip, would you imagine that Melbourne City are out of sight at the top?
Yeah, you'd have to think so, both points-wise and confidence-wise. They're coming into this game, they're expected to win it. They need to get 3 points away from it, knowing that they've got, of their last 4 games, they've got Sydney FC, they've got Melbourne City. So it's not an easy run to the finals for them, and 3 points here is crucial.
And it's different as well because they're having to rely on their squad as much as they had throughout the whole season. So players that we haven't seen play many minutes are going to get their chance.
Yeah, definitely. But that's what makes a season-winning team. It's your squad. It's not your starting 11, because you're always going to have issues. You're going to always have to bring players in off the bench. Fortunately enough, we have that international break, which allows their players a little bit of time to recover from injury, and it allows Lynn Williams to come back in. So hopefully it doesn't affect them too much.
Indeed. We're off to a short break here from Parramatta Stadium. Back with the second half. Crucial one for Western Sydney Wanderers in terms of ending the regular season with the trophy and climbing above Melbourne City. They need all 3 here, but can Perth Glory get something out of this? Maybe even their first win of the season. Back in a moment to find out.
All right, I've got it in my hand. A bit. Let me just move it near some items here. Let me know. Right. You're using the Paradiso send, aren't you? Not the copper, right? Oh, did it really? Oh God. Yeah, right. Look, I can always plug this into 3's hole, I suppose, but maybe it's not the time. Yeah. Steph said take over if she wasn't back, so sadly she came back. But I was going to get on this one. Yeah, when you were looking around, going, but where's my friend gone?
No, I was like, I'll talk to you instead.
I missed that. What was that? Oh, earpiece. Eh? God, you're muffly. Yeah. Yeah, I can use... Are they talking to you, Steph?
Hello?
Yeah, okay, sorry. Hello. This is Steph.
Hello? Is that you, Steph?
Okay, that is me. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well. You're sounding amazing. Shall I interview you instead?
Hey. Yeah. Hey. Excuse me, Georgia, sorry. Hello. Oh, you never talk that loud, do you, Steph?
What?
1 minute on the break.
You want another check? Hey, Steph's mate. Yeah. Steph's mate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Phil. Hey. Oh, I can't hear Phil. You haven't got him faded up, but... Oh, hang on, I haven't got a headset on. Right. Hey, can you listen to Com 3.
Is this still me? Yeah, you're good. You're joining in. Excellent.
Stash that.
Welcome back to Parramatta in this final match of round 10 of the W League, and it is the home side, Western Sydney Wanderers, leading Perth Glory by a goal to nil. Caitlin Cooper on target in just the 3rd minute as the players make their way back out onto the pitch. Majority of the Perth lineup already out. Just waiting for the Wanderers to join them, and looks like we'll be having personnel change as Caitlin Douglas is made ready for Perth Glory. And in fact, she does run on, and we'll get you some information about who she's replaced. Oh, Isabella Wallhead on as well. So a double change for Perth, and we've even got Morgan Aquino warming up. So Bobby's Despotovsky ready to give all his subs a run, and so quickly Georgie Yeomandale has dashed back up from hosting duties at half-time. What do you make of the potential triple change here?
Yeah, look, it's a very interesting decision there from Bobby to make 3 changes here at half-time. It gives you nothing going into the second half, and to me it almost looks like a little bit of let's give everyone a go, which is not what we like to see in the W League, because that's not what it's about. You've got to be going out there to win every game. Hopefully for Perth it is a tactical thing and he is chasing the game, but they're now going to play out 45 minutes with no options of subs.
Yeah, it's certainly a very brave move, we'll call it. Caitlin Douglas, of course, has been on the score sheet already this season for Perth Glory. Morgan Aquino is, my understanding, is on debut here. So she is one of the most promising keepers in the country, so it's great to see her actually getting onto the pitch. She's been very patient waiting to get a turn between the sticks, and with someone like Eliza Campbell ahead of you, it's never easy. And the 3 substitutes have made their way to the sideline, ready to be officially subbed on. We can see Denise O'Sullivan. Looks like she's intact and ready to go again. In fact, we can check with the coach himself. Dean Heffernan joins us on the sideline. Dean, congratulations on the season thus far. You know that these are crucial 4 weeks, but how pleased are you with that first half performance?
Yeah, look, it's been a really good performance so far. The girls have been great. They've worked really hard, and look, they've defended well. They've done the ugly stuff, which is really important, and then obviously created chances as well, which we know they've got the ability to do. But as long as we do the ugly stuff before that, then we'll get plenty of opportunities.
Dean, you've had to call on a couple of new players this season into this side, and you may have to over the next few weeks. How confident are you in your full squad to be able to get the job done?
So confident. I honestly don't even give it a second thought, because we've been working with these players since October. We've been watching them since June, July, so we know what they can do, and that's why they're here. That's all been part of the plan, and any one of them can fill in the gaps at any time. So we're more than confident with the squad that we've got.
Just quickly, Dean, update on Denise. She took a pretty heavy knock towards the halftime break.
It takes a lot more than that to knock Denise, mate. Don't worry about that.
Good stuff. Thanks for your time, Dean. Good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
I think he's right about Denise O'Sullivan. There's no way she'd be missing the last 45 minutes of her stay here. Of course, when she was in Canberra, she had a similar situation where she went back and took the option to go home and see her family, because of course she wouldn't get that much time to do that, going straight back into the American League.
Yeah, it is a tough thing playing in both leagues, is it makes it all year round.
And Evans' ball over the top, looking for Vine, who leaps high. And it clears everybody.
Yeah, so with the 2 seasons backing up, it means that you don't get a chance to have time off, and for Denise O'Sullivan, going home would be so important, making sure she's still spending time with her family. Unfortunately for the W League, it does mean that she doesn't get to play out the whole thing, and I'm sure Wanderers would have liked it to been otherwise.
Let's see if these changes come into effect for Perth Glory. Douglas sends it out to, maybe it's just that end of the field. That's another one. We've just seen Andrew skied over the bar, and we saw everyone do it in the first half at that end as well.
I think that goal must be a bit lower down that end or something.
We've got someone requiring attention.
Yeah, I think Thomas just copped a knock there in one of the challenges, but she looks to be getting to her feet and hopefully able to just walk that one off.
As physio heads back to the bench. And quite extraordinary to see 3 changes being made on the resumption of the second half. Adam Peacock, have you got any information on that?
Yeah, Bobby Despotovsky wasn't mucking around, Steph. He's made 2 substitutions for tactical reasons. Julia Sardo and also Katarina Jukic have made way for tactical reasons. That's why they're no longer taking part in the game. But Eliza Campbell, the goalkeeper, she's had to come off with concussion, unfortunately. So hopefully she's okay. But Bobby's got a bit of an issue because they play Newcastle on Thursday, and he doesn't have a second keeper over here. So if anyone's listening in the Greater Sydney area or in New South Wales and they're a keeper, maybe get in touch with Bobby Despotovsky, care of Perth Glory Football Club.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Adam. And sorry to hear about Eliza. We thought she'd picked up okay from that quite heavy knock that she took early in the first half. I don't think Morgan Aquino's going to give up those gloves very easily, though.
No, definitely not. They'll still be looking for a second one on the bench, and it's just really unfortunate to see Eliza pick up another head knock. She had a lot of issues over the last couple of years with quite long time out of the game with concussion, and to see players just continually get hit with concussion, it's a scary thing, and you know, it's one of the scariest injuries in the game, and something that can really affect people going forward in their lives.
Rigby still chasing down very energetically. Douglas can't help out. Back to Mastrantonio now for the Wanderers. Now, if the scores stay the way they are, the Wanderers will be up into second spot. Leapfrog their crosstown rivals Sydney FC. Both will be on 19 points, but the Wanderers will have a 2-goal better goal difference. Now Romero trying to push forward. Much livelier from Perth Glory this half as Letitia McKenna tries to find a way through. It's a solid wall of red and black.
Change the time on the end too.
Yeah, you can even just look at the way that Perth are setting up here in this second half. It has been a tactical change. Their formation has changed, and they look more ready to go forward if they do win the ball. So hopefully off that they're able to capitalise and create some options going forward.
Hopefully for Bobby Despotovsky, they'll stay fit and healthy as Harrison's ball does eventually find Hamilton. It's always a tricky one for Perth, and I sort of always feel for the Perth teams because they, of course, have to do that extra travel, and then when they come over and have to stay for the whole week, they're relatively stuck with the squad that they've got.
Yeah, definitely. There's 2 ways to look at it, though. You're with the team for a whole week. It's almost like being in a camp situation.
It's almost a privilege in the W League, isn't it?
Yeah, you're able to train together, you eat together, you get to know each other, and I think that the Perth Glory squad's always the most close-knit in the W League, just based on how much they are travelling together. And then on the other side of that, as much as they are travelling over to the east, it's harder for teams travelling over to the west because you only do it once a season if you do that, and you don't have time to get used to it, where they're kind of used to coming to the east. Plus there is the frequent flyer points, of course.
That sounds fair enough, as now we see Courtney Vine charging in again, and her cross is blocked by Natasha Rigby. Let's take another look at the injury to Eliza Campbell.
Yeah, there's no malice in there from Vine. She's got her eyes on the ball the whole time, but Campbell does take a big knock to the head and then does hit the back of her head again on the way down on the ground. So big knock for her, and unfortunately for Perth Glory, she'll be sitting out for at least a week with that one.
Opportunities for others now, some of them in defence as the ball comes back in for Western Sydney Wanderers. sense that Morgan Aquino's going to be very busy between the posts. She'll be relishing that opportunity, though. Been such a strength at NPL level in Western Australia.
Yeah, look, I'm sure she feels she's ready. She's been in and around this squad for many years now, and it's a big step getting into the lineup and being on the field, but I'm sure she feels ready. You mentally prepare yourself, and all the players around her have to help her to pick up for this one.
Called into action again here, or not. Romero clears the danger. Rinse and repeat.
Probably two very different debut appearances for the goalkeepers on the field today.
Back into the mix, headed away by Andrews. Almost reeled in by Mastrantonio, but now it's Caitlin Douglas charging. She's got support on the left, and she's spotted it. Crystal Thomas coming forward now, only Amy Harrison to beat. Thomas on palm down, still alive. Still alive for Perth, and eventually that does go in the back of the net, and Perth are celebrating. What a kerfuffle in the goal mouth. And you'd think the Western Sydney Wanderers will be very disappointed with that, but it is 1-1 here in Parramatta.
Well done to Perth Glory. What a great build-up. Caitlin Douglas just onto the field, and she makes a brilliant run, able to slip in Thomas out wide and continues her run into the box. Wanderers unable to deal with the ball in. Courtney Newbon, good first touch. I think there was a handball in there from Hun, but Perth Glory able to put it into the back of the net.
Yeah, it came off 3 or 4 players. You see it ricocheting up into the hand of Hun, who basically belted it back into Caitlin Douglas, who'll claim the goal.
Great start here from Perth Glory, though. They've come out and they've shown their intent.
You can't argue with that. You'd have to say Bobby Despotowski now looks like a genius.
Coach of the year.
100%. Don't think he'd disagree with that, but Wanderers want to fix things up now. It comes back for Cooper, wanting a double onto the roof of the net.
What a response that would have been from the Western Sydney Wanderers. Great run down the line from Courtney Nevin. Gets past her player and whips in a great ball. That's got great back spin on it. Caitlin Cooper just unable to get to the ball and put it on target. But a good response from Western Sydney. They're definitely not laying down.
No, as well, we wouldn't expect them to. Karakuni Cross retrieving the ball for the home side. Rolls past Cooper. Andrews back to Rigby. Pushes it beyond Thomas. Glory probably just need to settle a little right now. Excitement of that, that goal. Just make sure they don't concede.
Yeah, definitely. It's the big 5 minutes that coaches often talk about, and it's 5 minutes after a goal scored is a really dangerous time to then concede. So they need to just hold out pressure for the next 5 minutes and then be able to settle themselves into the game.
Still retrieves, sends it forward for Mastrantonio, who turns it over to Shannon May. And just as quickly, it's back with the Wanderers. Now Cooper charging forward. Opts to go laterally for Harrison. I was about to say that they'll be given an awful lot of room, but Morgan Andrews picked that off beautifully.
Yeah, just closed down the angle. The ball wasn't on. Amy Harrison had overcommitted to the pass, and Andrews has done well to pick it up.
Next switch from Mastrantonio. Never the through ball to Hamilton was a thing of beauty. Now Kristen Hamilton, still Hamilton. Oh, still looking to cut it back. Goalkeeper was out. Courtney Vine finally has that goal. 2-1 advantage, the Wanderers. Beautiful team goal, great build-up, and a classy, neat finish from Courtney Vine.
What a run there from Kristen Hamilton. It's the turn here. It's the first touch. She dribbles through, she gets past Kim Carroll, and then all she has to do is cut it back. And Courtney Vine on the end of it puts it in the back of the net. What a response there from Western Sydney Wanderers.
Really got a feel for Natasha Rigby here. If you watch the way the ball comes back off her, she thought perhaps she'd cleared the danger. Poked it straight into the path of Courtney Vine, and Natasha Rigby has done so much work this match.
Yeah, it's a tough one there for defenders, and that's why you always tell your attacking players to whip the ball in behind the defensive line, because they're running back and facing their own goal, and it's the hardest way to defend. That's what Kristen Hamilton's done there. She's put Natasha Rigby under pressure, and she's just unable to clear the ball.
In another viewpoint, what wonderfully good news this is for Dean Heffernan. He had Erica Holloway out with an injury, so Caitlin Cooper came in and scored. Lynn Williams is away, so Courtney Vine got an opportunity and scored. I think he'd be quite pleased with how his substitutes have panned out.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking to him at half-time about that, it's, you know, it's the ability to draw on your whole squad, and he's able to do that this season. Every player is a part of the team and doesn't feel any lesser than anyone else, and it means that when players come onto the field, they've got the confidence to be able to play good football, and that's what you need from a championship winning team.
It really is something that we worry about in the W League, as its first 11s look very strong, and then the squads get a little bit thin after that, and with the injuries that do occur, given the amount of football and sometimes on occasion the lack of rest that some of these players are getting, you really need to have the backups, and in a salary cap league that's not always easy.
Yeah, definitely, and it does come a lot down to the salary cap. It's really difficult to sign players past the point of your starting 11, and after that's when you start to bring in the young kids that are up and coming, which we'll have another look at that tackle, but I don't think there was much in that one. But the ref's given away a free kick on the edge of the box.
Opportunity for Perth perhaps to balance the ledger once more. Andrews and Kim Carroll having a brief conversation. But Andrews already been on the score sheet this season, just the once.
It's the kind of spot that as a free kick taker you're trying to put your hand up to get that one there. That's where everyone practices from, so I'm sure Kim Carroll would have wanted this as well.
Yeah, good distance. Yvonne has her wall set up. In from Andrews. Once again into probably what, row M.
Yeah, overhit that one as well. Courtney Newbon didn't have to do anything with that one, but a good position and a good opportunity not taken there by Perth Glory.
It's heartening to hear Courtney Newbon yelling at the wall as well, which for a 19-year-old on debut, it's good to see that she has those capabilities, because sometimes that can be a little bit unnerving.
Yeah, definitely. It's one thing that makes a goalkeeper good is their communication.
Arrow through to Douglas. Douglas turns around, winds up, releases. And again, nicely held by Newbon. Kenny Cross's pass cut off now with Jamie Lee Gale of Perth. Dropped very neatly into the path of an offside Crystal Thomas. Good vision, and the weight of the ball was well delivered.
Yeah, it was a good little ball over the top, and Thomas just unfortunately overran the run a little bit. Alex Hun was there to clear it up, but good vision and thought to try and dink one in there.
Nevin back in to Cooper. Now Kyra Cooney-Cross. Falls at the knees, quite literally, of the Perth defence. Natasha Rigby in the way. Pops out for Vine. Vine looking for Hamilton, who was encroaching in the middle of the area. Back with Harrison now. Tries to do the same, headed away once more by Perth, who eventually put it away to safety. Desperate defending from Perth Glory, but it's proving effective.
Yeah, it is. They're defending really well, Perth Glory. They're able to shut down the ball, but Wanderers not doing good, taking enough of their opportunities out wide. They're not able to whip the ball in as much as they should be. They need to be beating that first defender.
Thomas bowled over, no whistle. Also a belated whistle, perhaps, Isabella Libri. Thomas with a word over her shoulder to Denise O'Sullivan, who looks like she's still muttering away.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure there was a whole lot in that. Alex Hun does really well just to cut off the run of Thomas and is still going for the ball. So in my mind, that's not a foul, and the referee just giving one away a little bit too soft there.
Alex Hun, 2 seasons at the Jets before joining the Wanderers. Ball in for Perth. More calls. The referee, who just ignores them and carries on.
I think you've got to be able to do that as a referee. You've got players yelling at you all game.
We were chatting pre-game, Georgia, about the robustness on occasion of Alex Hun's defence. She's become a really strong part of this Western Sydney central defence. As we watch Douglas push forward again, tries to get past Sam Starb to no avail. Comes back for Andrews, who puts the ball in perfectly for Crystal Thomas, who's once again ahead of the line, looking very frustrated.
Yeah, but a great opportunity there for Perth Glory. Thomas just again offside, but they're looking like they want to play. They're trying to pass the ball around in dangerous areas and trying to catch Western Sydney off guard there, and Thomas does really well to get in behind, but unfortunately just unable to check her run enough to get herself back on side.
So in your halftime chat with Adam Peacock, you were discussing the table. Would you give the premiership to Melbourne City at this stage? You'd have to think that that's going to be a very tight tussle given the way the draw has panned out for these final weeks.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to come down to the second last game when Wanderers do play Melbourne City to see who picks up the 3 points in that one. Melbourne City have been so consistent in all of their games across the season, and we see it there with a win here. Western Sydney go into second place and 6 points away from City, but they do have that game in hand.
Absolutely, they do. Karakuni cross. Decent attempt on target, but also straight at the keeper. Yeah, you mentioned the game in hand, and Melbourne Victory also have one. They're sitting on 14 points. Level with Brisbane Roar, so that battle for fourth is just as intense. Of course, Western Sydney will go into that finals charge without the likes of Denise O'Sullivan, who is playing her last game in red and black today. Adam Peacock, sad to see her go.
Absolutely, she's been fantastic for Western Sydney Wanderers, and for the life of me, I don't know how Dean Heffernan is going to replace her, but it's going to be a really big coaching task for him to be able to do it over the closing stages of this season. Watching her in the second half after that almighty whack, I'm surprised she's out there, but because it is her final game, I'd say she is, but so tough. I mean, she grew up in the streets in Ireland there playing against the boys, and that's how she learnt the rough stuff and the rough and tumble, so that's why she is what she is as a player and as an athlete.
Yeah, 100%. And we saw the same thing, though, at Canberra last year. She becomes such a valuable part of the side. It's a shame she only signs these guest stints, but I guess it works best for her.
Yeah, she's a player that you definitely want to see in the W League for the whole season, but we'll take what we can get from her, and if it's just the 7 games, then that's what it is.
Yeah, what might be nice if she didn't need to have that cut-off time. I think the North Carolina Courage were demanding her presence back, and of course then the Ireland commitments as well, but wouldn't it be nice for her to be able to pick and choose those 7 games and just jump in where required?
I'm sure the Wanderers would like that, but I don't think the rest of the league would be too happy.
I'm pretty sure the Wanderers tried that and to no avail, Clara Cooney-Cross now.
Yeah, we just want her to play the 7 games against the top 3 teams, if that's all right.
Absolutely. Oh, almost danger there for Morgan Aquino. Courtney Vine looking for a second. But it's been a confident start from the young keeper.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see her come out and claim that one. Just her ability to demand that one in the air and go up for it and take it cleanly in the gloves, she's done really well. So looks like she's playing with confidence.
Also part of the young Matildas setup. We've got a few on the park today involved in that. It'd be great to see how they come through. Of course, we'll be seeing the Matildas in action in the not too distant future in that FIFA window with their matches for Olympic qualification. What are your expectations on that front, Georgia?
Yeah, look, it's going to be tough. We know that when we go over to Asia, it's always tough. We expect to make it into the Olympics and to qualify through that tournament, but I think the girls have just got to take every game as it comes and play everyone like it's the last. So it's not going to be an easy qualification process, but I definitely believe that the Matildas will come back and be heading off to the Olympics later in the year.
Wouldn't that be great with the Olyroos, of course, in action at the moment in Thailand. A 1-0 win over Syria puts them one step closer to their own Olympic qualification. And so Andrews delivers. It's brought down by the Wanderers with Hamilton picking it up on the near flank. And it's probably been a while, I think, since we've had both men and women at the Olympics, or ever. Sydney 2000.
Yeah, automated qualification makes it pretty easy. But yeah, I think you're right there, Steph, and what an amazing achievement it would be for football in Australia if we could get that this year, and it looks likely at this stage.
Yeah, we've become a little bit complacent with expect to qualify for World Cups, and indeed when we go to World Cups now we expect to do well, which is fantastic, but it adds another layer of pressure on these teams. And with the Olympics, I think we sometimes forget that we're not always that successful there.
Yeah, well, sometimes in Australia we look in our own backyard and look at how good we are, and we forget to kind of look at what the rest of the world is doing and the teams that we're coming up against until we get there.
Oh, great ball from Andrews, just over the head of Caitlin Douglas. What a beautiful delivery.
Yeah, and a great run in there from Thomas. Disappointing from Wanderers that no one was tracking her in there, because she's running from an onside position, a great floated ball in, and Douglas just unable to get on the end of it.
Wanderers trotting off again. Harrison's pass cut short by Natasha Rigby. Back with Andrews. She spotted another run, this time not quite enough on that. Down. And Letitia McKenna gets a pretty hefty push from Mastro Antonio. Nothing doing, says Isabella Libri. Sullivan and Perth coming in quite tight in their defence. Wanderers really struggling to get the ball out of that area.
Yeah, a couple of missed clearances there, and Mastro Antonio just throwing her weight around a little bit, ends up picking up a yellow card there, but Letitia McKenna looks like she's getting up all right.
Well, Mastro Antonio on the stat sheet then for her 100th game. I think she'd prefer to be chalked up in another column.
The goal column, I'm assuming you're referring to there.
I wasn't referring to a second yellow. Well, she's had a couple of shots today. Let's see what she can do in the final 20 minutes or so of this match. Andrews with another free kick to deliver. Plenty at the ready. Was put in a beautiful position. Looked like it hit Kim Carroll's arm. And headed across by Caitlin Douglas, and well, Livery calls an end to play.
Wow, what a free kick that was. Outside of the foot, able to get the whip around, the opposite whip around the ball with her right foot there and put it in a really good position. Kim Carroll on the back post, unable to control it and ends up with the handball, but great delivery into the box.
Oh, Douglas so close, and well, we're just seeing Yvonne get up. Staff's just helped her out with a bit of cramp. Last thing we need is another keeper change.
We're also seeing a lot of the Wanderers girls down on the sideline grabbing a drink, but also Dean Heffernan giving them some instruction. So it'd be interesting to know what he's saying there, and obviously he's not happy with something that's going on out there at the moment.
Those girls all came tearing in for a drink. I'm just wondering what it's like down pitch side. Adam Peacock, is it humid?
Well, Georgia can make reference to it because she saw me at half time and I walked up one set of stairs and I was sweating like I'd run a marathon with a jacket on.
That could just be your fitness.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say it's not, Steph, but it's really, really humid today. So there's going to be some tired bodies in this last 20 minutes or so of this game. So it's going to open up, I dare say. So Perth Glory, with having made those substitutions when they did, they might be a bit of a chance as the game runs to its conclusion.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting indeed. Thank you, Adam. Make sure you get somewhere cool. I'm sure you've got a long night of work ahead of you.
Fluids and enthusiasm, that's all that's required.
Great stuff. Now Hamilton, she's looking to extend the margin. The Wanderers a bit more of a cushion. It's interesting with all those changes. Perth Glory haven't looked too unsettled.
No, definitely not defensively, but they've looked really dangerous in attack, and Douglas has made such an impact coming off the bench, and to me that I'm kind of asking questions of why she didn't start if she's in that kind of form.
No, agreed, and maybe she's filling that super sub role that we see some players do so well. I know there's times when Emily Gilnick did that so well for Brisbane Roar that I wonder if they almost play themselves out of a starting position.
Yeah, that's true. That's one way to look at it, is you do always want to have fresh legs with enthusiasm coming off the bench. And potentially it was the fact that she hasn't been starting that's given her that extra bit of enthusiasm to come out and really prove herself in this second half.
She, of course, scored the second fastest goal in W League history against the Wanderers in 2016-2017, so maybe she just likes them as opposition. In fact, I think she's also scored in stoppage time against them. So maybe it's her glory day. With 15, 16 minutes to go. Rigby being given plenty of space, but Amy Harrison cuts that run short. Back to Cooper. O'Sullivan. Through the legs of Letitia McKenna, ends up with Kristen Hamilton. Hamilton only has Vine ahead of her. Bit of pace when she runs with the ball. Kyra Cooney-Cross with a shot not across and rather a bit too high.
Yeah, another one over the crossbar. We know that Kyrie Cooney-Cross can hit those ones. She's got the technique, she's got the power, but we have seen her miss-hit a few of them this season, and I wonder if it's something that she needs to go back to the drawing board and work on her technique a little bit more. Technically, she is a brilliant player, but to be consistently miss-hitting those ones over the bar, it's not good enough, and I think Dean Heffernan maybe will be asking questions of that, and even Catherine Connolly is a formidable striker, will be giving her some tips on how to keep those ones down.
Yeah, because they have worse people to get advice off.
A little bit of experience there on the bench.
Just a tad. In fact, between the three of them, and all relatively recent. We've got O'Sullivan down again. She looked like she was having hip problems when she picked up that original knock. Let's just take a look what happened here. It's rather difficult to tell. I'm getting treatment now. Look at that pass accuracy, 90%, and for the amount of time she's on the ball, that's absolutely extraordinary. So we take a look at the knock she suffered. It was more of a, it was almost a half rugby tackle thrown to the ground there by Crystal Thomas. Landed rather heavily, and at one point there, yeah, that twist wasn't great, holding a head, holding a hip.
Yeah, she's hit the ground really hard there and almost looked like she corked her glute muscle and probably put her hip out a little bit, but sitting on the ground there, it looked like she was going for the puffer. So I don't know if there's a mix between a bit of a asthma thing or what's going on, but as we've heard throughout this whole game, she's such a tough player. So to see her go down, you know that she's in a fair bit of pain.
13 odd minutes left of Denise O'Sullivan's W League season. I wonder if she'll be able to see them out. Again, the interesting, it's the Wanderers players that have all come in for drinks. Perth Glory standing quite comfortably in the outfield waiting for play to resume. Maybe that's another advantage of living in Perth.
Yeah, you're used to extreme conditions, aren't you? I do think a lot of the Wanderers drinks breaks over here on the side is definitely a chance for Dean Heffernan to give some tactical advice and tweak some things that he sees out there that aren't working.
So we look like we're going to get a change for the Wanderers. Denise O'Sullivan may come off if she gets the chance to get an ovation from her fans here. Let's find out if that's fact. Adam Peacock?
Yes, for Denise, it's a corked hip, which was as a result of that collision just on half-time, and it's just, as time goes on, it's tightening up and up and up. She didn't want to come off, obviously, for reasons mentioned before, how tough she is.
You can understand why, and it'd be nice that she gets some due appreciation, though, as she leaves the field. She'll likely be replaced by someone coming back from injury herself, Susan Ponsongham. Been a while since we've seen her in regular action.
She had a brilliant season last season in the New South Wales Premier League, top goal scorer, and so she knows how to find the back of the net, and finally coming into some form. Has had a few injuries over her short career.
The ball's up there for the Wanderers. It was Cooper again that was there. She's claiming it may have crossed the line. The linesman says no. Cooper not protesting too much. But, wow, it was certainly a danger moment for Aquino.
I wouldn't mind seeing the VAR on that one.
No. Although, I'm all for goal line technology, so you can have that. Did it look very close indeed. Let's see if we can get a better angle at that in an appropriate moment in play. So Harrison chases the ball over the sideline. Let's take another look.
Yeah, Caitlin Cooper was definitely sure this one goes over the line. Oh, no. No. Right call there from the referee. The whole ball didn't go over the line, and we've seen that earlier in the weekend in one of the A-League matches. A tight call.
And here is that change as Denise O'Sullivan makes her way off the pitch for the final time in this 2019-2020 season with the Wanderers. Hugs all round. She's been an absolute delight to have in the league, and, well, Denise, we hope to see you back, and all the best for your time with Ireland, and of course back in the States with the North Carolina Courage.
Yeah, played last season with Canberra United, this season with Western Sydney. I wonder if another club's going to pick her up for the guest appearance next year.
I think this particular one might be hoping to get her back. There must have been a bit of a draw card, though, having her American League teammates with her. Kristen Hamilton still trying to find the goal in this match. She's given herself some great opportunities, worked into some really good spaces. Able to get that finish so far. Harrison puts it back to Ponsongham for her first touch. Welcome back to the park. It's always good when you see these talented youngsters, and when they're so prolific at NPL level, you just want to see that converted, if you like, at the elite level.
Yeah, it is a really big step up from the NPL to the W League, and then again from the W League into the Matildas squad. So it's all about getting consistent game time and giving them the opportunity to settle into the higher leagues.
Some super sideline throws from Sam Starr there. Rory Delapish, she's Got a bad throw.
Yeah, it's an extra draw card there for Western Sydney Wanderers to be able to get her out on the sideline. It's almost like having a free kick from out there.
Kearney cross in, misses Ponsongham. Rigby clears only as far as the head of Caitlin Cooper. Tisha McKenna unable to help out. And Cooper again, assessing her options. Vine. Bit of a miss kick. Doesn't find Harrison. Now it's going to be for Alex Hun to chase. Plenty of options for Newbon. Opts for Nevin down on the left, who once again has had a really competent, steady game. I think it's been a real boon for Dean Heffernan to have her on that left flank and be playing with such consistency.
Yeah, she's been great this season. She played a lot for us last season, starting most of the games there at left back, but it was her first season in the league and with a team that wasn't doing so well. But this season, look at the squad she's got around her, and she's absolutely flourishing in that position, both defensively and able to get forward and help in the attack and whip in some really good crosses. So she's been really dangerous and a key player there for Western Sydney Wanderers.
Another starved throw. It's initially cleared by Shannon May. Chested down by Cooper, who fires off another shot, and Aquino forced into a save. Hamilton follows up. Great work from the Perth keeper.
Yeah, great save there from Aquino, but what a hit there from Caitlin Cooper. She manages to take a touch around the defender. You see that second touch, takes it around the defender and hits it back across goal. She's been so good for Western Sydney today, and it's good to see her back in the starting lineup.
Yeah, she's certainly made the most of that opportunity. The early goal under wealth of work. Morgan Andrews down on her hands and knees, struggling back to her feet as McKenna lets it fly for Perth. And back in the path of Caitlin Douglas. And Crystal Thomas was having a run before the flag went up once again.
Yeah, she's definitely been the most lively out there for Perth Glory this afternoon, showing a lot of experience and creating a lot of dangerous opportunities and often solo. So she's been really good for Perth Glory.
Yeah, with this rejig in the lineup, everyone's ever so slightly, we wouldn't say out of position, because Despotovsky has moved them around a bit, but she's really had to deal without a huge amount of support or service, I guess you'd have to say, although having Douglas up there seems to have really lifted both of them.
Yeah, well, they're both almost similar players. They're very buzzy. They like to get on the ball. They like to dribble and run at defenders at pace, and they're both quick, so they're able to support each other. Sometimes if you have a centre-front pairing where you've got one player who's more of a hold-up attacker and one fast player, it can work and it can be really dangerous, but other times you haven't got the support because you've got one player who can't keep up with the other. But in this second half, they've managed to find their feet a little bit and creating some really dangerous opportunities.
Time ticking away. If Perth want to find that equalises, Wanderers keep pushing forward, hoping to get that extra goal, and there it is, right on the 5-minute mark to go. The Wanderers have added a goal. They now have a 2-goal cushion, and it is 3-1 to the Wanderers here in Parramatta.
And none other than Courtney Nevin, who we were speaking about earlier. Such a dangerous player when she goes forward. Unfortunately, Aquino couldn't deal with the ricochet off her own defensive player, and it goes into the back of the net. But that just all comes from Courtney Nevin attacking play there.
Well, and I think that probably secures that second spot for the Wanderers. Congratulations there from Kristen Hamilton. Super stuff. And well deserved.
It's always good to see all the girls getting around each other and getting excited for each other's success.
have to keep their heads up for these final few minutes. Meanwhile, Kristen Hamilton, Wanderers still hungry for more. Kyra Cooney Cross charging through. Bails over her defensive counterpart, Susan Pongsankam. Oh, she puts a lovely ball at the feet of Hamilton, who twists and turns and can't quite get the shot away.
Great little build-up play there from Western Sydney. They would just move the ball around, play out in front of space, and then Susan Pongsankam in tight areas, great touches, and able to slip Kristen Hamilton in behind. And they win themselves a corner.
Now's the time for the Wanderers to increase their advantage. 3 minutes left of regulation time as Kyra Cooney Cross delivers in. Once again headed away by Perth, effectively by Andrews. And Douglas waiting to gather, outfoxed by Amy Harrison. Back to Caitlin Cooper. Oh, Hamilton. Still Hamilton. So Pongsankam coming up in support. Goes for that option. A bit flat-footed in the box now, but Pongsankam looking to cut back. It's cleared by Rigby onto Carroll. As ever, not for long, Master Antonio. He was quite happy to push the ball around in these final minutes. Pretty certain they've banked those 3 points, and what a wonderful way to reply to last week's loss. And that one is it's asking a little bit too much of our goal scorer.
Yeah, just a little bit, but a good positive play again by the Wanderers. Then moving the ball around and trying to create opportunities even in these dying minutes.
Well, and now a chance for another round of applause from the fans here in Parramatta as Ella Mastrantonio makes her way off the pitch on the occasion of her 100th W League appearance. She's had a super game today. Didn't get the goal that looked like it might be coming early on. Big hug from Liana Danaskis, who replaces her. So great stuff, Master Antonio. Look forward to having her around for quite a while longer. Hugs from Cannuli, Michael Beecham. Everyone pleased that she was celebrating that milestone in red and black.
Yeah, big congratulations to Ella Master Antonio. It's a big occasion to come out and play your 100th game, and she's been so good throughout her whole career. And another great sub to be bringing on in Liana Danaskis. Exciting to see her back in the game after a long time out with injury as well.
Absolutely right. Starb sends that one safely away. She's, of course, Liana Danaskis has been playing with Illawarra Stingrays, another one who's used that time to ply her trade in the MPL or WMPL with great success. And I think that's where it's actually a really useful competition to give the players some active match time, and of course it's a much longer season as well.
Yeah, definitely, in a competition that you can build in your confidence and try new things, try out new positions as well. But I played a couple of seasons at Sydney University with Liana and went through a rehab program with her there. We were both in a moon boot at the same time at Sydney Uni, and then
moon boot company, that's nice.
And then last season at Western Sydney, we were both out injured at the same time as well. So we've spent a lot of time on the sideline together, and it's really good to see her back out on the pitch.
Well, she'll be out there for a few minutes more as we see the rest of the Wanderers family up in the stands, enjoying watching this win and a bounce back to glory. A confirmation that there were 3 minutes added on, of which just over 2 still remaining. Douglas takes a tumble before it's turned back over. Perth desperate to just try and retrieve something. You'd think after the way they've battled on that a win might be out of sight, but they're certainly not giving up.
Yeah, definitely not. they need to walk away from this game with their heads held high. They've come out in this second half.
Oh, that's nice from Andrews onto the head of Douglas. Thomas still there hunting. Flicked away initially into Nascus. Andrews is back. Puts it back in the mix. Perth certainly on the hunt. This time McKenna denied by Pong Song Kam.
Yeah, Glory showing a lot of fight here at the end, and that's what you want to see. You want to see teams going out right until that final whistle, trying to get something out of this game.
The corner flies in towards Carol. McKenna's there, gets a foot on it, and it's eventually in the back of the net for Perth. Oh, there's a question from the goalkeeper saying it was offside, and indeed it's been given. Goal ruled out.
I'd definitely say that was the right call. I thought they were going to give it a goal, and I was questioning that one because on the back post, the final touch. Oh, no, maybe.
Oh.
Maybe it was onside. I didn't see Courtney Vine there at the near post keeping her onside, so Perth will probably look back on that one and be pretty upset with that call.
I think they will, particularly after all the effort's gone into that. You know, Thomas is certainly offside once more. It was interesting. I think Newbon knew straight away. She challenged that. Let's take another look. See Vine on the near side.
I guess the argument you've got there is Douglas is impeding on the goalkeeper, and she's definitely in an offside position. So if you're calling Douglas offside for interfering with play, then that's an accurate call. But the goal scorer in the end, I don't think she was offside.
Well, there we have it, the final whistle. Wanderers are back with a bang. We wondered how they would recover, how they'd work out the side with all the injury losses and the absence of the likes of Lynn Williams, but they've done it in style. An early goal on just 3 minutes from Caitlin Cooper set the scoring underway. It was Douglas that equalised for Perth Glory in the second half, but Courtney Vine made sure of it, giving the Wanderers a win. And Wallhead on 86 minutes, an own goal, means that Western Sydney Wanderers finish this one 3 goals to Perth Glory's 1. And what a wonderful occasion for the Wanderers, back into second spot as they now look ahead to the last 4 weeks of the season. It's been great to watch them here. Thank you for your company. From Georgie Omandale, Adam Peacock and I, we look forward to seeing you next week when we head down to Melbourne Victory. Have a great week and bye for now.